First, if you both just want to kind of introduce yourselves, the role you played in the creation of Deer, and then we'll get a little bit more into it.
Sure. Great. Thanks. Ethan, why don't you go first?
Sure, sure. Hello, my name is Ethan H. Baron. I'm a filmmaker located in the Lehigh Valley area. I was the producer, scriptwriter, cinematographer, and camera operator for my short film Deer.
And I am Michelle M. Charles. I am an actress, director, and producer located in Philadelphia. And I am the director of Dear.
Awesome, awesome. Well, just talk to me a little bit about kind of what inspired the story behind Deer. Super rich in cinematography. It's obvious it's pretty deep meaning. So kind of dive into that a little bit of what kind of inspired the choices about all of that.
So this is coming from I guess, the birth of the film itself, not as much as the creative direction, because that was all Michelle. It started out as a cinematography project. One thing that everyone mentioned about how the cinematography was great, which again, I want to really thank everyone for the compliment on that. I was in a class for cinematography, and we had to work on a project where we basically had the camera stationed locked down at all times. So in Deer, 90% of the shots are tripod shots or they're on the ground. There's no gimbal shots, there's no moving shots, there's no zoom in shots. It's all locked down. And that was pretty much the extent of the instructions that we were given for this assignment. When I had written it, I wanted to come up with something tense. I wanted to come up with something that would put viewers on the edge of their seats. And I was thinking, what if we had a symbolism for deer, which would be, of course, played by human beings, and we had someone with a rifle chasing them around. And it was the first time that we got to experience with VFX, which I was really proud of for this film. And yeah, that's far as a production standpoint. Michelle, if you want to take over on the creative decisions behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ethan. So, with that particular challenge of not being able to move the camera and to keep it on sticks the entire time, um, in working with Ethan, I determined that it was likely the best way to capture the visceral experience of this chase. It was to have the actors moving and the action moving into the lens rather than traditionally having the lens pointed in the direction of the action and having the action pass across the lens. If you'll notice, a lot of the activity was headed in the direction of the audience. So that I felt that that would create the most intimate, visceral experience for the viewers, as well as to underscore the tension that Ethan wanted to have in the story overall itself. In terms of the characters and the vision for a broader brushstroke of of exploring the relationships between the characters, it just seemed like the idea of toxic masculinity in its most extreme form emerged from this horrific experience that these women were going through, in this barren wasteland. And by the way, I think it's important to acknowledge the elements at this point because we suffered. We suffered. That was shot.
No, I noticed it was all snowy and
Oh
everything.
my gosh. It was like after the worst snowstorm of the year in January, we went out one weekend and we discovered that we were completely, underprepared, and we came back the following weekend and we toughed it out until about 3:30 in the morning, and all of that was just, our actors were, I mean, they should be applauded over and over and over again because they acted with precision in these sub-zero temperatures. Um, but also that what we unfolded the natural elements into the sense of desperation that the well fawn in the women experienced in the being pursued but relentlessly by these men who seem to be devoid of any sense of um vulnerability, sensitivity, sympathy, would you say?
Yeah, like you said, like relentless, emotionless, right? Like
Yeah, like
they're in it for the
slasher.
hunt. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kind of again going with that analogy of deer where it's like when you're hunting a deer, you're not really worried about the deer's feelings. You're not really worried about what it's going to feel. Well, imagine that in a scenario where these are human beings, right? They still don't have that empathy. They still don't have those feelings. They're locked in on the kill. So that's what we wanted to have in terms of that fear factor where they're relentless. They're pursuing this target. They're not going to stop until they get it.
right.
And it's like a hawk. Uh, it's terrifying.
And it directly correlates with that sense, again, going back to that idea of the most extreme form of toxic masculinity, where, the hunter shuts down all sense of connectedness to the prey, in order to bag a conquest. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, I that's one thing I definitely picked up from watching it was like that how you guys both talked about like the devoid of the emotion and everything. I think you capture that really, really well. And I think just the title enough, just dear, I really think that's a great addition on you guys' end.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys going in depth with that for me. Just one quick thing, if you guys just want to let everyone know who's watching where they could find you, or potentially any other upcoming work you may have, feel free.
Okay, I can be found on Instagram. My handle is Michelle behind the scenes with underscore between each word, or on Facebook at michelle.charles1. And I've been as an actress, primarily, I've been shooting a couple of films. One last week, I actually shot two films, a feature and a short. So I've been focused on more of my acting side while we work on the development of future projects together. But, keep an eye on my Instagram and my Facebook, and you will know everything you need to know about what's going on with me in the future.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Ethan?
Yeah, you can find my Instagram at ultraviolet.studios underscore. I was actually pulling it up right now, so can't we
Oh,
get it in there?
oh no.
It's too bright. All right,
It was a
yeah,
Oh
good
it's
shot.
no.
it was a good try. Can we get at least the
Oh,
okay, the YouTube. Okay, the YouTube at
yay.
least works. Yeah, it's Ultraviolet Studios. That's the logo you kind of want to look for. On Instagram, it's going to be a pink version of that. You can find me on Facebook at Ethan Baron and also Twitter, Ethan Baron. If anyone wants to see my content, go on there, my posts, my recent works. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or you ever want to work together. I'm always happy to help out on set.